The wrestling world has been flipped upside down in the most gut-wrenching way imaginable. The news nobody ever thought they'd hear, the headline that feels like a cruel nightmare, became reality today. Triple H, with tears streaming down his face, stood before the WWE Universe and confirmed the unthinkable: Rey Mysterio has passed away. The high-flying legend, the ultimate underdog, the man who inspired millions around the globe, has died after suffering a sudden heart attack. And the way the announcement was delivered left fans broken, wrestlers speechless, and the entire locker room shattered in grief. This wasn't just another sad day in wrestling history. This was the day one of the greatest icons to ever step foot in a WWE ring was ripped away from us forever. And the way it happened, the way Triple H broke down in front of the cameras, left even the strongest fans in tears. When Triple H walked out to address the crowd, there was already a strange energy in the arena. No flashy entrance, no theme song blaring. Just silence. His head was down, his voice cracking before he even spoke a word. Fans knew instantly that something was wrong, but nobody was prepared for what was coming. And then, in the most heartbreaking way possible, Triple H delivered the devastating statement. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know how to say this, but we have lost a brother. We have lost a family member. Rey Mysterio has passed away. He suffered a heart attack earlier today, and despite every effort to save him, Rey is no longer with us. The gasps from the audience were deafening. Some fans screamed, "No," while others broke down crying in their seats. You could see grown men covering their faces, kids hugging their parents in shock, and the camera even caught superstars in the front row visibly sobbing. Triple H tried to continue, but his voice cracked so badly he had to pause, wipe his eyes, and gather himself. This wasn't the powerful COO of WWE standing tall. This was Paul Levesque, a man grieving the loss of someone he loved and respected deeply. And then, as if the pain wasn't already unbearable, Triple H's words got even heavier. He said, "Rey wasn't just one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He was one of the greatest men I've ever known. His heart was bigger than his mask, bigger than his legacy. He lived for the fans, for his family, for this business. And now we have to live with the pain of knowing he's gone." The arena was dead silent. Fans weren't cheering, weren't chanting, they were just mourning. The kind of silence you only hear when something truly devastating happens. People were crying in the stands, and all over social media, tributes began flooding in. "Rip Rey" trended worldwide within minutes, and messages from legends, current stars, and fans poured in nonstop. But what made the moment so gutting wasn't just the loss itself, it was the memories flooding back. The highlight packages WWE aired right after Triple H's announcement showed Rey's entire journey, from his jaw-dropping WCW debut, to his emotional WWE Championship win, to those iconic moments where he stood tall despite being the smallest man in the ring. Fans watched clips of him hugging Eddie Guerrero, winning the Royal Rumble, sharing moments with his son Dominic, and electrifying crowds with his breathtaking 619. Every clip felt like a dagger to the heart, reminding everyone of just how much Rey gave to this business, and how much we've now lost. Backstage, reports say the locker room was in complete shock. Stars like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and John Cena were said to be devastated, with some unable to even continue with the show. Dominic Mysterio, Rey's own son, reportedly collapsed in tears when he heard the news. WWE staff and wrestlers surrounded him, trying to console him, but nothing could take away the crushing pain of losing not just a legend, but his father. The wrestling world has dealt with loss before: Eddie Guerrero, Owen Hart, Brody Lee, but this one feels different. This feels like losing the heart of the business itself. Rey wasn't just a performer, he was hope. He was the embodiment of resilience. The man who proved that no matter how small you are, no matter the odds stacked against you, you could still be a giant in this world. And now, his giant heart has stopped beating. And fans aren't just sad, they're angry. Angry that a man who gave everything to the business, who pushed through countless injuries, who sacrificed his body night after night, had to go this way. Angry that someone so selfless, so beloved, was taken so soon. Angry that the very man who was supposed to enjoy his retirement years with his family, watching his son carry the torch, was robbed of that chance. This isn't just a tragedy. This feels like betrayal from life itself. The anger grew louder as the hours went by. Social media wasn't just filled with tributes and condolences, it was flooded with questions. Fans demanded to know how this happened. How could someone as full of life, as healthy looking and strong as Rey Mysterio, just collapse from a heart attack out of nowhere? Rumors started swirling instantly. Was this the result of years of physical punishment inside the ring? Was it the toll of non-stop travel, training, and pushing through injuries? Or was it something WWE should have prevented? Hashtags like hashtag WWE failed Rey and hashtag justice for Rey began trending, as thousands of fans expressed their outrage. Many pointed out how often WWE forces their stars to wrestle through injuries, how the grind of the schedule leaves little room for rest, and how even legends like Rey are pushed until their bodies simply can't take it anymore. And if the fans were angry, the locker room was on fire. Backstage sources revealed that several wrestlers confronted management in tears and frustration. Some reportedly told Triple H and higher-ups that the company needs to do more to protect its talent, to give them time off, to monitor their health closely. Others, meanwhile, sat in silence, staring at the ground, unable to believe that one of their greatest brothers had been taken from them. One account described the scene like this: when the news spread backstage, it was like the air got sucked out of the building. You could hear people crying. You could see people hugging each other. And Dominic, man, Dominic looked like he lost his entire world. Nobody could even look him in the eye without breaking down. Dominic himself became the center of attention in the hours after the news broke. WWE cameras showed him later that night, standing in the ring with tears streaming down his face, holding Rey's iconic mask in his hands. He didn't even need to speak. The image alone was enough to make millions cry. The crowd erupted in chants of, "Thank you, Rey," and 619. As Dominic fell to his knees, clutching the mask to his chest. It was one of the rawest, most emotional visuals in WWE history. But Triple H wasn't done speaking to the fans. Later that night, he returned with another message. His face still red from crying, his voice trembling, he announced that WWE would be holding a special tribute show for Rey Mysterio, a night dedicated entirely to his life, career, and legacy. Every superstar, past and present, would be invited to share their memories, their matches, and their love for Rey. Rey deserves more than just words, Triple H said. He deserves to be celebrated for the giant he was, and always will be. The announcement only intensified emotions. Fans filled arenas and flooded social media with memories of Rey. Clips of kids wearing his mask, moments of him dedicating matches to Eddie Guerrero, and his never say die attitude spread like wildfire. Even non-wrestling fans were touched, because Rey wasn't just a wrestler, he was a cultural icon. A man who transcended the ring, breaking barriers for Mexican wrestlers and luchadores all around the world. But there was still that lingering sting of anger. How many more legends do we have to lose before something changes? Fans asked. How many more heart attacks, injuries, or tragedies does it take for this company to value the health of its stars more than ticket sales? In Mexico, where Rey was treated like royalty, entire communities held vigils. Murals of Rey in his mask appeared overnight, candles lit in his memory. Fans in Tijuana, where Rey was born, poured into the streets chanting his name, treating his passing like the loss of a national hero. To them, Rey wasn't just a wrestler, he was family. WWE superstars also began posting raw tributes. Roman Reigns wrote, "The locker room feels empty without you, hermano. You showed us how to fight with honor. I'll carry your spirit forever." John Cena posted a photo of himself hugging Rey after a match with the caption, "The Ultimate Giant. Thank you for every lesson, every smile, every moment. We'll miss you forever." And Dominic, though broken, managed to write, "I'll make you proud, Dad. Always." Then came one of the most haunting reactions of all, from Rey's closest brother in spirit, Eddie Guerrero's family. Vicky Guerrero broke down in a video, saying, "Now Eddie and Rey are together again. But it's so unfair that both of them had to leave us this way. Two angels taken too soon." That statement alone sent chills through the wrestling community, a cruel reminder of how eerily similar Rey's fictional passing was to Eddie's sudden death back in 2005. And while fans mourned, Dominic's pain was on full display. Reports surfaced that he locked himself in his locker room after the announcement, sobbing uncontrollably. Teammates like Damian Priest and Santos Escobar sat with him, offering comfort, but nothing could stop the tears. Sources even claimed Dominic kept repeating, "He was supposed to see me become world champion, he was supposed to be there." The heartbreak wasn't just in WWE either. AEW, NJPW, AAA, and countless other promotions paid tribute. Stars from every corner of the wrestling world acknowledged Rey's impact. Chris Jericho tweeted, "Without Rey Mysterio, half the high flyers you see today wouldn't exist. A true pioneer, a true friend. Rest easy, brother." Will Ospreay wrote, "You were the inspiration behind everything I do in the ring. I'll never forget it." Even AEW aired a tribute package on their show, proving just how massive Rey's influence was across the industry. The world of wrestling stood still. And yet, through all the pain, through all the tears, one haunting thought kept echoing. How could this happen? The WWE tribute show to Rey Mysterio wasn't just another episode of Monday Night Raw, it was a funeral broadcasted live to millions. The entire roster came out to the stage, every superstar dressed in black, many of them visibly crying. Triple H stood at the center holding Rey's mask, his hands trembling as he raised it high. The bell tolled 10 times, the arena silent except for the sound of sobbing fans. And then, in what will go down as one of the most emotional moments in WWE history, every single superstar began chanting in unison, "Thank you, Rey. Thank you, Rey." The cameras panned across the roster. Becky Lynch wiping her tears. Seth Rollins shaking his head in disbelief. Roman Reigns standing with his arms crossed, but his eyes red from crying. Even Brock Lesnar, a man rarely seen showing emotion, looked down at the ground, visibly broken. But the most heartbreaking scene of the night came when Dominic Mysterio walked out. Wearing his father's mask in his hands and draped in his father's robe, Dominic could barely stand. The crowd erupted in chants of, "Dom! Dom! Dom!" trying to give him strength, but he just stood there, staring at the mask, unable to find the words. And then, finally, his voice cracked through the microphone. "My dad was more than a wrestler, he was my hero. He was the reason I ever stepped into this ring. He was the reason I believed in myself. And now, he's gone. But I promise you, Dad, I'll carry your legacy. I'll carry our name. And I'll make you proud." At that moment, Dominic fell to his knees, clutching the mask to his chest as tears streamed down his face. The crowd gave him a standing ovation, chanting Rey's name, but the pain in that ring was unbearable. Michael Cole's voice cracked on commentary as he whispered, "There will never be another Rey Mysterio. Never." WWE played a 30-minute tribute video chronicling Rey's life and career. From his childhood in Tijuana, to his WCW battles with Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Juventud Guerrera, to his WWE debut against Kurt Angle at SummerSlam 2002. The video replayed his miraculous Royal Rumble 2006 victory, his world title wins, and of course, his moments alongside Eddie Guerrero. Clips of him hugging his young son Dominic in the crowd all those years ago were intercut with recent footage of them tagging together. The package ended with Rey's iconic words, "I'm not the biggest. I'm not the strongest. But I have the biggest heart." The arena erupted in chants of, "Thank you, Rey. One more time." But while fans were mourning, while the world was grieving, something else began boiling beneath the surface. Anger. Resentment. A sense that this tragedy wasn't just fate, but a result of years of neglect by WWE. Fans online began digging into Rey's history of injuries. His knees had been shredded from decades of high-risk moves. He'd suffered countless concussions, torn ligaments, and fractures. Yet time after time, he was rushed back into the ring. Fans asked the hard questions. Why didn't WWE force Rey into early retirement when they knew his body was breaking down? Why didn't they monitor his heart health more closely, knowing the physical toll of his style? Why didn't they do more to protect one of their most valuable icons? And the more people talked, the louder the criticism grew. Wrestling journalists reported that Rey had been complaining of chest pains weeks earlier but chose to wrestle through it. Some insiders claimed WWE knew he wasn't in the best shape but didn't intervene. Whether true or not, the narrative spread like wildfire. WWE failed Rey Mysterio. Fans weren't just crying anymore, they were raging. On social media, posts read, "Rey deserved better. The company that markets legends doesn't protect them. We lost Eddie too soon, now Rey. How many more before things change?" The pressure on WWE skyrocketed. Sponsors began reaching out, demanding answers. News outlets outside of wrestling picked up the story, asking if the business itself is to blame for pushing its stars to the brink. And while all of this was happening, Dominic Mysterio's grief turned into fury. Backstage sources revealed that Dominic was angry, not just at fate, but at the company his father gave everything to. He reportedly told friends, they ran him into the ground. He should have been resting, but they made him wrestle. And now he's gone. That raw emotion began seeping into storylines. On the next SmackDown, Dominic refused to play his scripted role. Instead, he grabbed the mic and said, "Live on TV. I don't care what management thinks, my dad's blood is on their hands." They knew his body was breaking down, and they kept sending him out there because he sold tickets. Because he made them money. Well, now that money cost me my father. WWE, you failed my dad. The crowd erupted. Some fans cheered his bravery, others booed out of pure emotional chaos, but everyone felt the intensity. Michael Cole tried to cover it up on commentary, but the damage was done. WWE had been called out on their own show by the son of the man they were supposedly honoring. Backstage, sources say Triple H was furious, but also heartbroken. He reportedly told people that Dominic's outburst wasn't planned but admitted, "I can't even blame him. He's grieving. He lost his dad." Still, the tension between Dominic and WWE management became the biggest story in wrestling. And it only got worse when rumors spread that Rey had been pushing for a lighter schedule for months, but WWE allegedly turned him down. That piece of information, whether true or exaggerated, was enough to send fans into a frenzy. Comment sections exploded with fans calling for boycotts, demanding investigations, and swearing they would never forgive the company. The tribute show, meant to honor Rey, had turned into a battleground.